Hello, this is Dave Thibodeau with Daking Audio. We're here at our assembly facility. We're assembling a console for delivery shortly, so we'll take advantage of this and talk about the cut and solo system today. Okay, solo system. We have the two basic solo modes as you would expect: a destructive solo or an AFL, a non-destructive solo, or after fader level AFL. We do not have a PFL. So in the destructive solo mode, it would be just as you expect. When you solo a channel, the other channels will cut that are not soloed. And if you add more channels, they'll uncut and add to the solo until the last one is shut off. In destructive solo mode, in AFL mode, obviously the other channels are not cut, and it just interrupts the audio into the control room so you can listen to what's on that track, or however many tracks you choose. Okay, we have a nice little feature in the console where if you have a bunch of cut buttons on, like when the console first powers up, all you have to do is press clear cuts, and it cuts them, it clears them all, just as it says. Although you got to watch it, make sure you don't have anything cranked up really loud when you hit the clear cuts, because it will it will be loud. And then solos, this is really handy. If something's soloed, you're not sure where, as you see, the solo light does come on when something is soloed. See, when I hit a solo, that solo light comes on, telling you something is soloed. And if you press it, it clears the solo. However, I should mention that the cut buttons, that clear cut lights never illuminates. Only when you press it does it illuminate, because the center section has no way to know that something's in cut. But it does know when something's in solo and tells you. So that's your light that tells you something's in solo, and you can just clear it if you don't want to go looking for it. Okay, now we're getting to the advanced features of the cut and solo system. We have this mode called the Go Figure mode, where go figure. What this does is it allows you to set up a channel in a solo safe mode. So we don't have a button for that, but the feature is there. When you go into the Go Figure mode, you have lights. If you look, if you pan back, can you see this up here? The whole thing, input, everything. You see when I go into the Go Figure mode, all the solo lights light up in the group section and not down here. So what this is when you select any of the solo buttons and it turns on, in the Go Figure mode, an illuminated solo button is in solo safe. When I go out of the Go Figure mode, now when I press I've got to go to destructive solo mode. When I press the solo, you see these three channels and those two channels and all of the groups do not participate with a cut. They're now in solo safe mode. You can still solo those channels, but what it does is it forces an AFL mode on those channels. So and you can use them interchangeably. You can be in a destructive solo, and then you can solo a couple of channels. So it's very handy when listening to like reverb returns and whatnot, to be able to solo isolate a channel for your reverb returns and still be able to solo them and be able to figure out and cut what's going to the reverbs. As a default selection, you see we have all of these groups set in a solo safe mode, but they don't have to be. You can undo this if you like and not have the reverb returns in solo safe. We just put it there as a convenience because usually you would. Now when I come out of the Go Figure and I solo a channel in destructive solo, you see the reverb returns will participate. So if you're using those as just simple input like stems of mixes back into your mix, you can still do a destructive solo with, if you hit the right button, with those. So that's that mode. Okay, auto mute feature, yes. Well, this is also associated with the Go Figure mode. When you go into Go Figure mode, it will illuminate what's in the solo isolate, but also if any cut buttons are lit up, I'm going to take these out of solo isolate. Any illuminated cut buttons are now placed into a mute group. So I go out of the go figure mode. Of course, the mute still functions just like normal, but when I press the auto mute, those will now cut. So any cut button in the console can be set up into this mute group by just selecting go figure and then choosing, like I'm going to choose some of these to also participate. And now when I hit auto mute, you see we got 6 channels cutting. 2 reverb returns, 2 mixers, and 2 in the input module because I selected those. And you go into go figure mode and you can undo it. So that's how you set up the mute groups.